with the title Observing the Armies. May I request everyone to switch on your videos, please, so we can interact. Humble request. Thank you. Some of you are traveling, driving, and attending Bhagavad Gita class. Very nice. Be careful. Okay. So you are doing verse number 8. Correct. And first 5 minutes, we'll try to summarize what we discussed in the previous class. So may I request anyone, any volunteer to talk about the highlights of previous session before we proceed. Yes, Mataji, Boli, Priti Mataji.
Last class, we learned love for Krishna already exists within us, within our soul, and our body is by default Krishna conscious. And Krishna's holy name saved Draupadi, or anyone chanting with faith, anyone chanting Krishna's name with faith will definitely will be benefited. And we learned that there are two types of soul. One is subtle body and another is gross body.
Two types of bodies, not soul.
Okay,
Soul is one.
okay, two types of bodies. Okay, subtle body and gross body. Subtle body is made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego. And the gross body is made up of 5 material elements.
What are these elements?
These elements are, actually, I was not clear about that.
Try.
Air, water.
Yes.
Air, water.
Earth.
Earth.
Yes.
Fire.
Yes.
And
ether.
one.
Ether. Akash.
Okay, Akash. Yes. And then we learned.
Very good. Okay. Okay, let's give chance somebody else now. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to add? Yes. Shri Gopal Prabhuji.
What is Chiti Jal Pavak Gagan Samira Panch Rachit Ya Adham Sarira? ये तुलसीदास जी ने बोला था रामायण में.
Yes, very nice.
5 तत्व से बॉडी बनी हुई है और 12 महाजन के बारे में बताया था. भीष्म वाज अमंग वन ऑफ द 12 महाजन. 12 महाजन थे ब्रह्मा, भीष्म थे ब्रह्मा, नारद, शिव, चारों कुमार, कपिला, मनु, प्रहलाद, जनक और भीष्म, बलि, सुखदेव, यमराज.
Wonderful, very nice. And who is Mahajan?
है महाजन जो सब पूरा नॉलेज हो.
One who understands all.
महान जन, जो महान जन है, जो अंडरस्टैंड एवरीथिंग अबाउट.
वेरी गुड.
और फिर आपने 12 रस के बारे में बताया था. उसमें 5 रस जो आपने बताए थे, शांत, दास्य सर्विस, साख्य फ्रेंड, वात्सल्य पेरेंट एंड माधुर्य जो राधा जी का है, इंटीमेट स्पिरिचुअलिटी. जय विजय जो द्वारपाल थे उनके बारे में बताया था. शिशुपाल जी एंड दंतवक्र, रावण कुंभकर्ण, हिरण्याकश्यप और हिरण्याकश्यप.
Very good. Very nice. Thank you very much. Okay, anyone else? Wonderful. You all are very sincere students. Yes, Ashwarya Mata.
Yeah, so we also learned about the association of people, books, material has huge impact on our thought process. Basically, we understood the examples of Kaikeyi and Karna. Kaikeyi, in the association of Manthara, had that bad thought of sending Rama to exile. And at the same time, Karna was in the association of Duryodhana. And though he had a virtuous soul. I mean, though he had that good quality of donating and all of that, but because of the association of Duryodhana, he had to engage. He had to fight from Kaurava's side. So Sangat Sanjayate Kama, that's what you said the other day.
So
And
what is Sangat Sanjayate Kama means? The kind of association we keep, that kind of desires manifest in our
manifest.
heart. Okay.
Yeah.
Sangat means association. Sanjayate, it manifests. Kama means desires.
Right.
And जिस तरह का हम संग रखेंगे, उस तरह की इच्छाएं हमारे हृदय में उत्पन्न होंगी. So it's very, very important to be very selective in terms of the kind of association we keep.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And also we understood why we follow Ekadasi, both the scientific and spiritual reasons.
Yes.
So
how many of you actually observed Ekadashi? That is important. So let me see to what extent we implemented this learning. So who all fasted on Ekadashi? Please raise your hands. Okay, very good. Very nice. Not everyone, huh? Okay. So yeah, fasting is always difficult, but sometimes no pains, no gains. You have to, go through some austerity for a greater benefit, isn't it? Like one who studies hard to get admission to IIT, a lot of hard work, but that makes his whole life, isn't it? So whenever we have to go through some austerity, we should think about what will I get in return. Then it becomes easier. Okay. So I would expect next time many more hands getting raised. Okay. At least the person who presented, he kept Ekadashi, I'm happy. Sunil Prabhu and Mataji kept Ekadashi. Very nice. So thank you very much. Any last point anyone would like to add before we proceed? Yes, Mataji.
We also learned about the reason of Bhishma, why he fought from the side of Kauravas, though he was a devotee.
So what are the reasons?
One was external, that he had a promise to keep, that he will serve the words of Kru king, and another was because he has to serve Krishna through providing the Veeraras.
Yes. Thank you very much. So Bhishma, if Bhishma was not there on the side of Kaurava, they wouldn't have dared to fight, isn't it? So for this fight to happen, Bhishma had to be on the side of Kauravas to give them confidence. They have some, possibility of winning this battle. Thank you. Yes, Sunil Prabhu.
Yeah, and we also learned that spiritual journey mein faith बहुत important hai, and that was very well narrated with the story of the cobbler and the Brahmin and Narad Muni. So that is like अब वो set हो गया ऐसे story से कहा गया था तो. And one was like knowledge is preserved by propagation. So like more and more we spread it.
Yes.
So that was what we learned.
Very important points. One is faith or Shraddha is very important in spiritual life. Actually, we display Shraddha everywhere, but not in spiritual life, isn't it? When you, board a plane, you never go and ask pilot, Baba, what is your experience? Have you had any accident? No. You don't check all of this. You simply board and sit and relax and enjoy a cup of coffee or tea. You have full faith this pilot will take me through peacefully, safely, isn't it? Isn't that a reflection of faith? You go and, take medicine from doctor with very full faith. You eat that medicine, I'll be cured of the disease. When you sit in front of the barber, he takes knife close to your neck and you still bend your head with faith that he will not hurt you. Isn't it? Isn't it? Knife is here, right here. If he wants, he can just in one moment cut your throat. But with faith, you sit peacefully that he will not do anything. So we exhibit faith many places. So there's every reason to exhibit faith in spiritual life also. And a lot of things are based only on faith, Shraddha. So let me start with another story today. Okay? Because you like stories. So Bhagavad Gita is a living scripture. If others also can switch on their videos, it will be wonderful. Otherwise, I'm always suspecting that, people behind are getting distracted. So that's why I'm telling this story. Why you have to be very attentive in this class. And when video is off, there's every possibility to be distracted. Thank you. Kuldeep Prabhu. So I was saying, Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary scripture. It is a living document. It is a living scripture. Living means it also reciprocates with a sincere student. Bhagavad Gita reciprocates. Okay. Otherwise, by the face of it, looks like some pages made up of some wood, dead matter, no hands, no eyes, no voice to speak. But no, Bhagavad Gita is a living scripture. There was one, this is a real story I'm telling you. It's not a fiction. There was one devotee with the name Arjuna Acharya. Listen carefully. I'll ask questions on this later on. Okay. Arjuna Acharya. He was a Brahmana living in Jagannath Puri. Have you heard about Jagannath Puri? Thank God. People are aware. If I ask Singapore, everybody raise a hand, I'm sure. Jagannath Puri, everybody didn't raise a hand. Singapore is more famous than Jagannath Puri. So, Arjuna Acharya was a Brahmana and very sincere student of Bhagavad Gita. Every day he'll read. And he used to take care of his family through Bhiksha. He'll go and Brahmana, he'll go and ask some donation and survive. But he spent a lot of time in reading Bhagavad Gita. So he had his family also along with him. So one day he comes across a verse in Bhagavad Gita. This verse is in, let me display the verse, then you'll enjoy. This verse is in 9th chapter. Can you see the screen? Yes? Visible? Just raise your hand. Okay. It goes like this. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paripashate tesham nitya vyuktanam yogakshema vahamiham. So Krishna is making a promise in this verse. Huge promise. What is he saying? Ananyas means those who always worship me with exclusive devotion. Ananyas means na anya. Na anya, ananyas. Exclusive devotion. Meditating on my transcendental form means they are remembering me constantly. To them, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Means I protect what they have and I supply myself what they need, what they don't have, what they lack. Yoga Kshemam Vahami. Vahami means, if you see the translation, Vahami means carry. Aham means I. So Krishna is saying, if my devotee who is fully surrendered unto me, fully dedicated, always remembering me, to him, I protect what he has, I preserve what he has, and I carry what he needs or what he lacks. Okay. So when Arjuna Acharya read this statement, he said something wrong. Why should Krishna carry himself and bring? He has so many expansions, so many demigods assisting him. He can get this done very easily through anyone. Why he has to come himself, the Supreme Lord? Why Vahami? So he doubted this word and he thought maybe this word has been written wrongly. Because earlier there was no printing. So people used to write these scriptures with hands and then he'll give it to somebody and he'll read. So he thought somebody was writing, he has done some mistake. Instead of Karomi, he has written Vahami, which means instead of writing that I will get it done, I'll supply it through somebody, he has written I'll carry myself, which he did not. You know? So he cut across this word, Vahami, and wrote Karomi. So this verse became Yoga Kshema Karomi Aham, not Vahami Aham. So I will get it done. If somebody doesn't have, I'll get it supplied. Not I will supply myself carrying it. So he went out for his daily routine of seeking donation. And unfortunately, he did not get anything. So while he was outside, two small boys came to his house, knocked the door. The wife opened the door. And then the wife saw one of them carrying a bag full of grocery items on his back. So she said, yes. So they said, we are disciples of your husband and he has instructed us to deliver this bag to you. So he said, I am not aware that he has any disciples. But they somehow convinced her that we are, his disciples and he has sent this bag full of all grocery items which you may need. So she then saw on the back of the boy, there were a lot of injury marks as if he was beaten by a stick. He asked, what happened to your back? He said, no, actually your husband punished us by beating. Why? Because he wanted us to carry more weight than we could carry. He wanted us to carry more items than what we carry. He punished. She felt very bad. Come inside, come inside, come inside. Sit for some time, I'll give you something to eat, then you go. But when she went inside the kitchen, both of them disappeared. And then husband came in the evening back to his house. And the moment he entered, wife started shouting. You're so cruel. You're beating two small children. Your disciples. He was wondering, today day is very bad. Morning, I couldn't understand that verse. And I did not get anything, outside. And after coming back home, wife is shouting at me. And then she narrated the whole story, that how these two boys came. And when he asked, please tell me the description of these two boys. And then she narrated that one of them had blue complexion and one of them had a white complexion. Then he understood who were they. They were not two ordinary boys. They were Krishna and Balaram, who had come to deliver grocery to his house. And then he went and opened his Bhagavad Gita, which he was reading in the morning. So he had, cross kiya tha na, Vahami ko. The cross had disappeared now. Why? This Krishna now fulfilled his promise of what he wrote in Bhagavad Gita. And the striking of that word was as bad as striking the back of Krishna. You saw the injury mark on his back. It was because of striking in Bhagavad Gita. So what does it reflect? Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary dead matter. It is a living document which reciprocates with a sincere student, sincere reader. Okay. So let me share my own experience. So I bought a flat in Bombay, Andheri, Oberoi Splendor. Many of you may know JVLR Road, in front of Kalpataru. So I was staying in Thane, and my office was shifted to Chakala, Hindustan Lever. So I wanted to shift close to office. So I bought this house and spent a lot of time, money, energy renovating it, doing interiors. And then when we were to enter this flat for the first time after everything was done, just outside the door, I opened Bhagavad Gita just to see what is Krishna's message today while we're entering into a new flat. And the verse came in front of me in which Prabhupada had written the purport, which suggested we spend so much of time, energy decorating our houses as if we're going to stay there forever. Can you repeat, Aishwarya Mataji? What was written?
We spend a lot of time decorating our houses as if we stay there forever.
And trust me, within 6 months, I got transferred from Mumbai and I had to leave that flat. So I couldn't stay there. I spent 6 months decorating it and I stayed there not more than 6 months. Yeah. So if you make a sincere inquiry from Bhagavad Gita answers that inquiry. If you are in deep trouble and sincerely you seek advice from Krishna, with a prayer in your mind, in your heart, open Bhagavad Gita randomly, Krishna will present to you very relevant verse answering your problem. So Gita is not a dead book, it is a living scripture which reciprocates to the emotions, to the desires, to the queries, to the problems of the reader. Not reader, sincere reader. Okay. So that's why I keep repeating in almost every class that we have to become, we are student of Krishna directly. When we say we are student of Bhagavad Gita means we are student of Krishna directly. Because Bhagavad Gita is non-different from Krishna. Okay, so with full faith, start this journey because we just started first chapter. We'll have wonderful experiences if you remain sincere as good students. Keeping your material designations outside your room. I am this and this, I am manager, I am CEO, I am MD, I am businessman, I am this. Don't carry these material designations while you want to sit in front of your camera to hear about Gita. Okay? We are students of Bhagavad Gita. Remember your old days when you used to go to school and sit submissively in your classroom, you know, in front of your teacher. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You know? Remind yourself of those days, and enter into that consciousness while we hear Bhagavad Gita. Make sense? Yeah. So this is the mood with which we should start this journey. So we were doing verse number 8, you know, in the last session. So we'll try to do 2-3 verses today. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitim Jaya Ashwathama Vikarnascha Somadattis Tathevacha. Rita Mataji, can you please read the translation purport of this verse? Unmute yourself. Everybody.
There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Samadatta, called Burishrava, who are always victorious in battle.
आगे पढ़िए. Purport.
Purport: Duryodhana mentions the exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana, Ashwathama is the son of Dronacharya, and Somadati or Burishrava is the son of king of the Bahalikas. Karna is the half brother of Arjuna, as he was born to Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Kripacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya.
So in this verse, who is speaking this verse?
Sorry?
Who is speaking this verse?
Who's speaking this word?
Yes, Himanshu.
This Sanjay.
No, not Sanjay.
Duryodhana.
Duryodhana. Okay. So Duryodhana is speaking the verse. He is doing a kind of SWOT analysis. You understand SWOT analysis? What is SWOT analysis?
Strength and weaknesses.
Strength, weaknesses. S for strength, W for weaknesses, and what is?
Weaknesses, opportunity, and threats.
Opportunity. So Duryodhana is doing a kind of SWOT analysis, trying to assess the strength of Kauravas and Pandavas. So earlier he assessed the strength of Pandavas. Now he's starting to talk about his army. Right? He took names of great warriors, like yourself means whom? Whom he's talking to?
Dronacharya.
Dronacharya. Very good. So he's telling Dronacharya that the great warriors like you, Dronacharya, and Bhishma, and Karna, and Kripacharya, Vikarna, Somadatta, so many great warriors who have never, ever been defeated. So all are ever victorious. We talked about Bhishma Pitama, talked about Karna. Kripacharya was another Acharya, and Ashwathama was the son of
Dronacharya.
Yes, son of Dronacharya. So this Kripacharya and Ashwathama, you know, they are still alive. Some people are like, yeah, are you sure, Prabhuji? They're still alive. Yeah, they're still alive. You know, what is the age of Kali Yuga? Anyone? How many years long? मैंने बताया था, journey of self-discovery.
5,000 years.
4,28,000 years.
More than?
4 lakh years.
Yes.
4,32,000.
4,32,000.
32,000.
Yes. So I'll try to give you a hint of, idea of how long Brahmaji lives. Then I explained, about Kripacharya and Ashwatthama. So age of Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. Age of Dwapar Yuga is double of this. So how many years? Please carry calculator with you, because I'm going to ask to do some maths.
8,64,000.
8,64,000 is the age of Dwapar Yuga.
Dwapar, yes.
3 times Kali Yuga is Treta Yuga. So how many years?
12,96,000.
12,96,000. Wonderful. And 4 times Kali Yuga is Satyuga. कितना हो गया?
17,28,000.
Sum कीजिए. All 4 put together. All 4 put together. All 4 put together.
You have to write.
All 4 put together. What happened?
It's 43,20,000.
20,000. Wonderful. So all 4 put together is called Divya Yuga. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Chaturyuga or Divya Yuga. Satyuga plus Treta plus Dwapar plus Kali Yuga is 43,20,000 years. Correct? So in Kali Yuga, out of 4,32,000 years, only 5,000 years have gone. So we are yet to see the real Kali Yuga. We have still not seen. अभी तो केवल आपको ट्रेलर दिखाया है भगवान ने, कलयुग क्या है, अभी मूवी आनी बाकी है. And if you want to, read in detail, understand what is going to happen later, you can read 12th canto Bhagavatam, which explains what is going to happen in the coming years. Okay, it's full prediction. This is one Chaturyuga or Divya Yuga. Now 71 such Divya Yugas make one Manvantara. अभी आपका कैलकुलेटर फेल होने वाला है, इसलिए आप मत कीजिए. Just listen now. The calculator will be insufficient to work out now what I'm going to say. ठीक है? तो 71 such Chaturyugas make one Manvantara. And 14 such Manvantaras make 12 hours of Brahmaji. यानी कि day, not night, only day. And this is also called a kalpa. सुना होगा आपने शब्द kalpa. Kalpa means 12 hours of Brahmaji.
Can you please repeat, because we missed something in between.
Okay. So 71 Chaturyugas make one Manvantara. 14 such Manvantaras make one day of Brahmaji. So if you multiply 71 by 14, it comes to almost 1,000. So 1,000 Divya Yugas, Chaturyugas make 12 hours of Brahmaji. And this is called as Kalpa. And if you put night together, multiply by 2, that makes 124 hours of Brahmaji. So you can imagine, our life is like a flash. Like a flash. If you're so proud of our 60, 70 years of life. And such one, you multiply by 365, that makes it 1 year. And Brahmaji lives for such 100 years. That is the lifespan of Brahmaji. That is the lifespan of Brahmaji. Mind-boggling. And Brahma's lifespan is just one breath of Vishnu. Breath equivalent time of Vishnu. That is the lifespan of Brahmaji. So Vishnu exhales universe manifests, Vishnu inhales, universe is destroyed. Annihilated. So during this inhale and exhale, Brahmaji lives. That is lifespan of Brahmaji. So I'll send you one small video which will talk more in detail about Brahmas one day. So you can do your mathematics more in detail in terms of what is life. So out of 71, out of 14 Manvantaras, currently we are in 7th Manvantara. ठीक है, 7वां मनवंतर चल रहा है, उसमें 28 दिव्य युगा चल रहा है, जिसके कलयुग में हम हैं. इंटरेस्टिंग, नो? है ना? You never done mathematics like this. And Krishna talks about this in Bhagavad Gita later on. Age of Brahma. So now we are in 7th Manvantara. In 8th Manvantara, both Kripacharya and Ashwatthama will come as Saptarishis. 7 sages you must have heard about. They will become one of 7 sages of next Manvantara, 8th Manvantara.
Guruji, we should be at the 8th Manvantara, not 7th.
We are
Because 7 already passed.
7th is going on, Prabhuji.
No, you said Dwapar was double, Treta, triple.
No, that is only one Divya Yuga. That such a 71 Divya Yugas make one Manvantara.
Okay.
Mantra is huge. And all demigods change in every Manvantara. So all Indra, Chandra, they change because these are positions. They are positions like, our collector has changed last month in Udaipur. Position is same collector, but the person is different now. Similarly, Surya, Chandra, Vayu, Indra, there are positions, they change every Manvantara. After every 71 Divya Yugas, you have a new set of ministry portfolio, handling different portfolios. Okay, this is the cosmic organization. Okay, so both of them will appear as Saptarishis in the next Manvantara. Okay, let's go to next verse. 9th verse. You can repeat after me. Annecha Bhavasura Madarthe Tyakta Jivita Nana Shastra Paharana Sarve Yuddha Visharada. Who all have Bhagavad Gita copy with you today in front of you? Okay, everybody has. Suni Babu iska padhiya, please read the translation purport. Verse number 9.
There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kind of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Purport: as far as others are concerned, like Jayadritha, Kritravarma, and Salya, all are determined to lay their lives for Duryodhana's sake. It is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of sinful Duryodhana. Duryodhana, of course, confident of his victory on account of above-mentioned combined strengths of his friends.
So Duryodhana is now showing his confidence in his army that all of them are ready to die. And Prabhupada writes, Duryodhana is declaring that all of them will die. All of them will die in this battlefield, which is going to happen anyway. So his prediction Duryodhana is making indirectly that all of them will die in this battlefield. You know how many people died in the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Any idea? I'm going to throw another bouncer now. How many people died in the battlefield of Kurukshetra? How many visited Kurukshetra? Achha, only one. Okay. 166 crore people died in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. क्या कह रहे हैं प्रभु जी? Are you in your senses? Yes, 160 crore. This battle lasted, I think, for 18 days. Okay, so let's read the next verse. Aparyaptam tad asmakam balam bhishma avirakshitam paryaptam tu idam etisham balam bhima avirakshitam. Who would Himanshu Prabhu like to read?
Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. The purport. Here, in an estimation of comparative strength is made by Duryodhana, he thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable. Being specifically protected by the most experienced general, grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of Pandavas are limited, being protected by a less experienced general, Bhima, who is like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. Duryodhana was always envious of Bhima because he knew perfectly well that if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was a far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained.
Now here, Duryodhana is comparing Bhishma and Bhima. Okay. And he's saying, Bhima to bachcha hai Bhishma ke सामने. And actually he's saying this. वो खाली दिखने में मोटा लगता है, लेकिन इधर कुछ नहीं है. Means he has only physical strength, but he doesn't have intelligence like Bhishma. And he's saying our strength under the care of Bhishma is immeasurable. But their strength under the care of Bhima is limited. Why? It is Bhima. He was very envious of Bhima, you know this? Very envious. Proverb लिखते हैं उसके अंदर कि he was sure if he had to die, he will only die in the hands of Bhima. Not anyone else can kill. Bhima had strength of 10,000 elephants. Which means if you keep 10,000 elephants in a row and Bhima kicks the first elephant, the last elephant will also die. That is the strength Bhima had. And he is saying, Bhima to bachcha hai Bhishma ke samne. Bhishma, ichha mrityu ka unko vardhan tha. He had benediction that he will die when he wants. So both are extremely powerful in their own capacities. Bhishma is very powerful, Bhima is very powerful. But he's saying Bhima is nothing in front of Bhishma, so nothing to worry. He's basically raising confidence level of his own army. Don't worry, we have Bhishma with us. And that's the point we discussed in the previous session. He dared to fight this battle just because he had Bhishma. Otherwise, he wouldn't have dared. Then he's, explicitly sharing his opinion about Bhishma. We have Bhishma with हमारी तरफ Bhishma है, so don't worry. Bhima is nothing in front of, Bhishma. Duryodhana had kept one statue of Bhima iron statue and used to fight with that statue. He used to hit that statue. So he used to take out his enviousness, on the statue of Bhima. Very envious. What is envy, by the way? Anyone? What is envy?
A feeling more than jealous.
Jealousy.
But what is jealousy?
What is jealousy?
ईर्ष्या.
ये सब आप मेरे को सिनोनिम्स बता रहे हैं, उसका मतलब क्या है?
Prabhuji, may I?
Yes, Kuldeep bro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna to everyone, first of all. When we aspire to have something that someone has in front of us, and instead of just learning from that person that how to have it, we are actually getting bitter that we don't have it, and we start hating that person just because that person has it.
Very nice. Let me now share very simplistically. When we are not able to tolerate somebody's success, this is envy. Simple. जब किसी दूसरे की प्रगति हमारे से सहन ना हो, उसको envy कहते हैं. बड़ा सिंपल है ना? When we can't tolerate, असहन, मतलब दूसरे की प्रगति सहन नहीं हो रही है. जैसे जब दुर्योधन, when he went to राजसूय यज्ञ, है ना? युधिष्ठिर ने राजसूय यज्ञ किया था, in which he had amassed, lot of wealth. And when Duryodhana saw so much of wealth, so much of opulence Yudhishthir has, he just could not tolerate. He came back to his Hastinapur burning and told his father, Father, I just can't tolerate that they have so much of money. Do something. And Shakuni said, don't worry. Ye sab hamara hone wala hai. Don't worry. All of this will be ours in a few days. And then he suggested that game of, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Which game is that?
Prabhuji.
Huh?
Chopper, Prabhuji.
Chopper. जो भी है.
Chaukas or chopper?
Whatever. Gambling. Then he suggested, Shakuni suggested, you convince your father to invite them for this gambling match. Rest I will handle. All the opulence you saw will be ours very soon. That's how this gambling match was organized. Why Duryodhana could not tolerate? Itna paisa hai inke paas. This is envy. And this is there in all of us. Whether we acknowledge or we don't acknowledge. And Krishna said, he will say in 9th chapter, Arjuna, I am giving this knowledge to you because you are not envious of me. So envy is going to be an obstacle in our devotional journey. So you have to be aware. So just be aware. Whenever this feeling comes to your mind, just be aware. Envy is hitting me. Whenever you see somebody more beautiful than you and you feel jealous, just be aware that something bad is going on in your mind. When you see somebody's car bigger than yours, envy hits you. And when somebody is promoted before you in your organization, then just be aware that, envy is hitting me. At least let's start being aware. We'll find a solution for sure for this envy. But being aware is, winning the battle halfway through. At least be aware. I'm suffering with this disease called envy. And remember Duryodhana. Yes, he was also like me only. Or I am like him only. I am like him only. Okay, so let's read the next verse. I have to make a very important point in that verse. So it's 1:45 already. If you allow me, I'll take 10 minutes. Yes? Is it okay? I know it's a Sunday. Holiday time to relax. But this also relaxes your mind, no? Isn't it? Okay. अयनेषु च सर्वेषु यथा भागम अवस्थिता भीष्मम् एवाभिरक्षन्तु भवन्ता सर्व एव हि. आप भी मेरे पीछे पीछे बोलिए. Okay, I'll unmute Dipesh Prabhu. You repeat after me, okay? अयनेषु च सर्वेषु.
अयनेषु सर्वेषु.
अयनेषु च सर्वेषु. You have Bharuni in
अयनेषु
front of
च
you?
सर्वेषु.
You have
No, I
Bharuni?
don't.
Okay, I'll display.
I'm sorry.
Just hold on. Just hold on. So when you recite, then you feel more confident. It's very simple, not difficult. Okay, can you see it on your screen?
Yes.
Ayeneshu cha sarveshu.
Ayeneshu cha sarveshu.
Yatha bhagam avasthita.
Yatha bhagam avasthita.
Bhishmam eva bhirakshantu.
Bhishmam eva bhirakshantu.
Bhavantaha sarva eva hi.
Bhavanta sarva eva hi.
Ayeneshu cha sarveshu.
Ayeneshu cha sarveshu.
Yatha bhagam avasthita.
Yatha bhagam avasthita.
Bhishmam eva bhirakshantu.
Bhishmam eva bhirakshantu.
Bhavantaha sarva eva hi.
Bhavanta sarva eva hi.
Very nice. Read the translation also.
So, translation, all of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army.
Read purport also.
Purport. Duryodhana, after praising the prowess of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma Deva was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man. So everyone must specially think of his protection from all sides. He might become engaged in the fight, and the enemy might take advantage of his full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that other heroes not leave their strategic positions and allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Duryodhana clearly felt that the victory of the Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishma Deva. He was confident of the full support of Bhishma Deva and Dronacharya in the battle, because he well knew that they did not even speak a word when Arjuna's wife Draupadi, in her helpless condition, had appealed to them for justice while she was being forced to appear naked in the presence of all the great generals in the assembly. Although he knew that the two generals had some sort of affection for the Pandavas, he hoped that these generals would now completely give it up, as they had done during the gambling performances.
Thank you. So, after highlighting Bhishma, he is now again using diplomacy to raise confidence of other members. So they should not feel discouraged. ये क्या भीष्म को जिताने वाला है क्या? हम नहीं है यहाँ पर. Aren't we there? We also have come here to lay down our life. So he's saying, okay, stay there in your positions and protect Bhishma. All of you put together, protect Bhishma. So you see last 11 verses, how diplomatically he has been acting. In so many places he has used diplomacy, like instigating Dronacharya, taking the name of Dronacharya before Bhishma, why Bhishma was more superior to Dronacharya, just to give him more confidence, give him, importance, and then give importance to Bhishmacharya, and then give importance to all of his other soldiers. Yeah. But one thing you notice, he has not taken the name of Krishna anywhere. Right? Surprisingly, no? Why? Why?
So that people should not get weakened because of the strength of Krishna.
Should not get?
Because his own army should not get weakened because of the strength of Krishna.
But he's there.
Because Krishna said that he will not raise any sort of weapon.
Okay, one thing is that he said he will not, fight. So he is anyway useless. What is his name? And his army is with us. Narayan Sena, he begged from Krishna and took on his own side. Otherwise also, he could never see Krishna in his real position. Not only in the battlefield, otherwise also. He could never see Krishna as Supreme Lord. Could never see. Pandavas could see. Bhishma could see. Dronacharya could see. Kunti could see. Draupadi could see. But Duryodhana, his brothers, Karna, they could never see. Why? Same person, no? Same person in front of Arjuna, same person in front of Duryodhana, one is able to see, one is not able to see. Why?
Prabhuji, I have a question.
First answer my question. Prabhuji,
I didn't get, I'm so sorry. I didn't get the context, like Krishna's qualities or Krishna ji as a whole. Like they weren't able to see Krishna ji as a whole. Totally.
Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's pastimes are non-different from each other. Why? Because Krishna is absolute, not relative. Krishna is absolute. So all of them are same. So he could not see Krishna in his form. He could not see qualities of Krishna. He could not see anything of Krishna. Who is iPhone? I can't make out your name. Hi, iPhone. Sorry, आज आपने नाम नहीं लिखा, तिथि माता जी. Okay. Yes, Sunita Mataji. Please switch on your video.
Maybe they were not the devotee of Krishna.
Very good. Now we're going to discuss a very important subject. Next 5-10 minutes. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Let's see what does he say. Can you see a screen? Yes. This is a verse in 7th chapter, verse number 25. Says, Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavrita mudhoyam navijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. He's saying, Naham prakashah. I don't manifest sarvasya to everyone. It is not that Duryodhana is not able to do Krishna. Krishna is not revealing his identity in front of Duryodhana. Okay. So it is not Duryodhana who is not able to see or is not seeing Krishna in his form, original form. Krishna is not revealing his identity in front of Duryodhana. Naham Prakash, I don't manifest in front of everyone. कोई बोले मुझे भगवान देखना है, जैसे आप लोग पूछते हैं ना आजकल, हमको भगवान दिखाइए. ऐसे इच्छा करने से भगवान दिख जाते हैं क्या? No, you need to have qualification to see the Lord. Like Arjuna had qualification, Duryodhana did not have qualification, while Krishna is present in front of both of them. Then why is not able to see? Yoga Maya Samavrita. Krishna has covered himself or his eyes through Yoga Maya, through his internal potency, his energy. जैसे वो blindfold कर देते हैं ना, कपड़ा लगा देते हैं, तो दुर्योधन के यहाँ कपड़ा लगा दिया गया है. He not able to see Krishna. Mudaha ayyam na abhijanati. Krishna says, I don't reveal myself to Muda, to foolish people. मूर्खों के सामने मैं अपने आप को रिवील नहीं करता. मूढ़ो यम ना अभिजानाति लोको माम अजब अव्ययम. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. Let me read the purport. It may be argued that since Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on this earth, how can it be said that he is not manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present, there were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of Kurus, when Shishupal spoke against Krishna's being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in the assembly, Shishupal said, no, he's an ordinary gwala. गांव वाला आदमी है, तो उसको क्या तुम क्या अगर पूजा करोगे इसकी? You will make the president of the assembly. He is simply a cowherd boy. But Bhishma said, no, Baba, he is not a cowherd boy. He is a Supreme Personality of God. He is God himself. He was not revealed to the non-devotees and common man. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that but for his pure devotees, all men consider him to be like themselves. He was manifest only to his devotees as a reservoir of all pleasure. But to others, to unintelligent non-devotees, he was covered by his internal potency. So Krishna is not, so you hear many people saying, no, Krishna is an ordinary person. Oh, he is a great personality. How can he be God? People who write commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, they don't accept Krishna as Supreme Lord. Just imagine. Why? Krishna does not reveal himself to non-devotees, to unintelligent, foolish people. So फिर कैसे, how do we make Krishna reveal his identity to us? क्या करें ऐसा जिससे like
should become a devotee.
Very good. You should become a devotee. And you have started that journey already. That's why I say this journey is going to be very special. So in another verse, scriptures say how to make Krishna manifest. If you would like to know, let me know, otherwise you can close here. Tell me, what do you want? He says, in this verse, another scripture, Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahayam indriya sevan mukhe hi jivado swayam eva spurati ada, which means, therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and past. Which means, with the material senses we have, these two eyes or nose or ears, we cannot appreciate Krishna. These are material senses. Krishna is fully 100% spiritual. Then what do we do? But when a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service, na bhaved grahayam indriya sevan matlab service. Mukhe hi jivado, starting with jiva, your tongue. Sevan mukhe hi jivado swayam eva sprutyada. Swayam matlab he will manifest himself. what in his name, in the form of his pastime, in his quality, he'll manifest. One who has started approaching Krishna in a service attitude, then he manifests. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. मेरे साथ बोलिए, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only devotees can understand me. Only devotees can understand me. Others cannot. So you have to understand Bhagavad Gita. We have to serve Krishna, starting with our tongue. What can you do with tongue? Anyone?
Chanting. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Chanting of the holy name is the first service we can do through our tongue. Chant the holy name. Okay. In another scripture, I'll just read this and then we close. Sorry. Kali Kale Nam Rupe Krishna Avatar Nama Haite Haya Sarva Jagat Anista, which means in Kali Yuga, Krishna incarnates in the form of his holy name or mantra. In this age of Kali, the holy name of Lord, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. So the mantra we recite, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is not material sound vibration. It is an incarnation of Krishna himself. So when you chant, it is as good as serving Krishna. Simply by chanting the holy name, one associates with Lord directly. Anyone who does this is certainly delivered. So we can start serving through our tongue. Sevan mukhehi jivado. Why? Krishna's name is non-different from Krishna. Okay? So service is extremely important to understand secrets of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, Krishna will not reveal the secrets. While I will talk about it, some will understand, some will not understand. Some will be Arjuna, some will be Duryodhana. Arjunas will understand, Duryodhanas will not understand. As simple as that. So if you become Arjuna by serving, you will understand. If you remain Duryodhana, you will not understand. As simple as that. Okay? So please chant every day without fail. This is like taking association of Krishna directly. I'll take one session on this separately, exclusively on the holy name, why and what is the potency power of the holy name. Okay? Another service we can do through tongue is, what is that?
Eating prasad, Prabhuji.
Taking prasad. Anything you eat, if you offer to the Lord and then honor prasadam, that is also service through tongue. Okay, there's another service you can do through tongue. What is that? Yes.
Spread the teachings.
Very good, wonderful. So when you glorify Krishna or you speak out what you hear to other people, is called kirtana or glorification. That also purifies tongue. So you do these three things, it'll transform your life. Okay? Hare Krishna. So we'll close here. My apologies for being late every class. I have got poor time management. What can I do? Okay, now we'll have 5 minutes for question answers. Okay, before question answer, let me see who all have joined for the first time. Can you please raise your hands who have joined for the first time? Atharv Kabra. Yes, Mataji, please introduce yourself. You're not audible. I can't hear you.
Meenakshi Kabra.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I'm from Surat and joining for the first time and trying to understand Bhagavad Gita for the first time in my life. I haven't read it before.
And who inspired you?
Shweta and Sunil Kothari.
Acha, you're related with them, is it?
Yeah, Shweta Kothari is my sister. She's my younger sister.
You both look alike. I was wondering, how come, Mataji is appearing in two screens?
Okay.
Okay, very nice. How was the experience today?
It was good.
So what did you learn?
Like, कैसे कृष्ण को पाया जा सकता है, like jap, prasad, and by encouraging others also by glorification.
Okay, very nice. Thank you very much. Okay, Meenakshi ji, who else has joined for the first time today? So last time Dipesh Prabhu joined for the first time. We did not welcome him. So maybe he can also introduce himself.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna everyone. So my name is Dipesh. I know Madan Prabhuji from Unilever. He was my first skip level was in HUL. I read Bhagavad Gita 2 years back and during the first lockdown. And more than understanding what to do, I got more confused. So that is when it's actually the journey has been very interesting. Like the way Bhagavad Gita came into my house. I used to go to ISKCON, visit, always thought I'll buy a Gita, but never did. One day my wife was she had gone for some meeting and there was a ISKCON counter downstairs and they said, please take one Gita for your house. And she came and she gifted it to me. And this was, I think, the first month of our marriage. And that book was lying with me for almost 3 years. And I always said, I will read it. First lockdown, I read it, got super confused. So then I started thinking, like, who can I reach out to understand this? And then it struck me that Madan Prabhuji, I know him personally, and someone had told me that, okay, he has left his corporate duties and he's doing spiritual teaching. I said, that is amazing. So I reached out to him. And then he sent me some videos. And I will be honest, I saw those videos and still remained confused, but didn't pursue it further. Gave it a 6-month break. After that, I read the entire thing again and still got even more confused. So now this time I said I will take it from end to end, understand it properly, so that at least I know that what is the purpose of life and how to live it properly.
Thank you very much. So hope you are finding sessions useful. No more confusing now.
Yes, sir. So far.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else who has joined for the first time? Kuldeep Prabhu has joined for the first time.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, it was like 3 years back, 4 years back. I believe in a thing like very firmly. I didn't used to believe in God पहले, but then कुछ ऐसी चीजें हुई कि I used to believe that there's a force in this nature. Then this nature has a force that if you put something out there, it aligns things for you. So then later on, I understood that is Krishna's arrangement thing. So 3-4 years back, a materialistic person told me the value of Bhagavad Gita. And I used to feel very noble. I was a little kid, like 10th grade kid, who used to think that reading Gita is very noble. So I started telling everyone that, you should read Gita. And I used to try to read Gita, even though because I was just a kid. So now I realize that even though I was such an insignificant being, I was doing prachar somewhere or the other. Even मैं materialistic point of view से कर रहा था या noble feel करने के लिए कर रहा था, I was doing prachar somewhere or the other. And now that I noticed, I joined ISKCON like almost 7 months, 8 months back, and everything I noticed everything that Krishna ji arranged everything, and when I observed that, I didn't even think for like 1 second, and since I've been here, like most of my mental inertia has gone. So it's wonderful, and the session was really great, really great. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Gurdev Prabhu. Thank you. Okay, anyone else who has joined for the first time? I can see some names, but Nidhi Mataji, please switch on your video. Yes.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I was there last time also.
But we didn't introduce you.
Yes, Prabhuji and everyone, Hare Krishna. Many years ago, when I was a little girl, some 25, 30 years ago, I spent my New Year and mostly anniversaries and Holi, Radhashtami in the temple, ISKCON temple in Vrindavan. And I lived in Kanpur then. And as a little girl, I was exposed to that a lot. And after I got married, some 18 years ago, the household in which I got married were followers of Ram. And thereafter became a confusing journey for me. And somehow I left, I could not continue with the, chanting of Ram as they were doing it. They are doing it here. They are all followers of Lord Ram. And whereas my own thing was that मैंने बचपन से यही देखा था, कृष्ण की भक्ति देखी थी, तो कुछ 18 साल मैं उससे बड़ा डिस्कनेक्टेड डिस्कॉर्ड में रही. And then of course Madan ji, Prabhu ji, I met him, and then I started understanding, yes, your presence has made a difference, because Guru के आने से एक दिशा मिलती है, encouragement भी मिलता है, तो वो मुझे मिला है और मैं धीरे धीरे इस तरफ पहुंच रही हूँ जिसमें मुझे पीस मिलता है. कई बार मैं बहुत टॉन फील करती थी कि सब तो राम राम जपते हैं और मैं कृष्ण कृष्ण कैसे करूं, तो मैंने उसको छोड़ दिया था. डिस्कॉर्ड महसूस होता था, पीस नहीं महसूस होता था. अब जब से 4-5 सालों से अब धीरे धीरे मैं इस तरफ आ रही हूँ कि हाँ, जो मुझे अच्छा लगता है वो मुझे करना है. एंड स्पेशली प्रभु जी, आपने इसमें मदद की, तो अब मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है. आई एम फीलिंग पीसफुल, मच मोर calmer.
Thank you very much. So Mataji looks after MDS school. She didn't disclose that. Let me disclose. You would have heard about MDS school in Udaipur. Mataji is looking after the school. Okay, thank you, Nidhi Mataji. Anyone else? Smiksha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. You are muted again.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam. So my journey is not started now only. It is from a long time, I think so. Because when I was a kid and I first time saw Laddu Gopalji in my house, that time I was so wondering that how beautiful, like we used to see toys, we used to buy some toys and we used to play with them. So I used to wonder that how beautiful this toy is. And then my mom told me that this is not a toy, this is Bhagwanji, Laddu Gopalji, and we should worship him daily. So I used to look at him very consciously, that like I used to wonder that how beautiful they are. His eyes is so beautiful, and like they want to talk with me. So from that time I started willing that something is there in that Laddu Gopalji. Then later on, when I was in my second year, I have in my second year, yes, I started reading Bhagavad Gita, and I have completed the book. Even how I don't know how to read Sanskrit sloks, and anyhow I read that from not a book of Srila Prabhupada. It was a Hindi book, and I have read shlok and its mahatva and everything, and somehow I completed the book. I feel very good after completing that. Finally, I have read Bhagavad Gita, and I love to read Mahatva from that book, because it was like a story